Last spring, I bought and tested several robot mowers, including one of the biggest robot mowers everyone was talking about, the Ecovacs GOAT G1000 RTK. And honestly, in the right yard, it was impressive. But this spring, I purchased and started testing the new Ecovacs A3000 Lidar Pro, and I'm realizing some of the biggest problems with last year's robot mowers may finally be solved. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be putting this thing through some difficult testing and comparing it to another new LiDAR mower. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, so robot mowers have come a long way in the last 5 years. First, there were perimeter wire mowers that required you bury a wire around the entire perimeter of your mowing area, which was often a multi-day project. They struggled with obstacle avoidance and had other issues that made them pretty impractical for most homeowners. Then came the RTK mowers we've seen the past couple years, which rely heavily on an RTK beacon on a 5-foot pole to direct them where to go. These solved a ton of problems. Now they could be set up in under an hour and had pretty solid obstacle avoidance. The issue was, if you had an irregularly shaped yard that could take your mower out of view of the beacon, they got way less accurate. I tested the GOAT 1000 RTK in my parents' very flat, open yard first, and it actually did a fantastic job there. But my yard was a completely different story. I have an oddly shaped yard, tons of shade, narrow areas, trees everywhere, play structures and a trampoline, and sections where the mower lost visibility of the beacon. And that's where RTK started becoming frustrating, because the beacon really needs a clean line of sight to the mower to stay accurate. And after a few dozen run attempts and tons of troubleshooting, I determined that my yard just wasn't going to work with an RTK mower. But I suspected LiDAR might be a completely different story. If you're interested in seeing long-term testing, difficult yard comparisons, obstacle avoidance tests, and side-by-side videos with the new Dream LiDAR 3500, definitely subscribe. I test these in my family and friends' real yards, not perfect demo lawns. I'll also put an affiliate link for both the Ecovacs 3000 LiDAR and the Ecovacs GOAT 1000 RTK in the description if you want to check current pricing or specs. After just the first day with the Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro, this feels like a completely different generation of robot mower. It's the first one I've tried that feels like it can actually handle all the tricky conditions my yard presents. The first massive improvement over the RTK version is mapping and navigation. Because this mower uses LiDAR, instead of relying so heavily on RTK line of sight, it can actually mow my entire property, both the front and backyard, accurately. Last year's RTK mowers could really only mow reliably in areas where the beacon could directly see the mower. Once the mower moved into more blocked or shaded sections, things got less reliable, which meant part of my C-shaped backyard and my entire front yard just couldn't be done well. The A3000 can easily do it all. It mapped my backyard in one try and then mowed the entire thing without missing spots, and then easily added my front yard and mowed it perfectly too. And honestly, this is the biggest reason I think LiDAR mowers could be a game changer for normal yards. The second big improvement is obstacle handling. While the GOAT 1000 did a solid job of avoiding people and pets, it did tend to roll over other obstacles. Big sticks and toys left in the grass, and my trampoline legs were a constant problem. It would get stuck on or around them so often that eventually I just had to make the entire area around the trampoline off limits, which was a major issue because we move it to a different spot every time we mow. The A3000 actually had the same issue when I first ran it, but as soon as I toggled on its AI recognition option, it saw and avoided them perfectly. And it's not just the trampoline. It's handling awkward edges, tighter spaces, and random yard obstacles much better overall. Third, and this one honestly surprised me, it's getting through difficult terrain much more competently too. Right now, I have a section of yard that's still a little boggy from recent weather. Last year's mowers would constantly get stuck in the mud, and even if they could eventually get out, they'd lose positioning and start wandering off course. The A3000 has been making it through this area without getting stuck and without losing its path. That alone is a huge upgrade for real-world mowing because most yards are not perfectly dry or perfectly flat golf courses all the time. The fourth major improvement is simply capacity. This mower is significantly larger and can mow a much bigger area on a single charge. For reference, we live on about 1/3 of an acre, but between the house, flower bed, shed, driveway, and everything else, the actual mowable lawn area is much smaller, a little more than 5,000 square feet. And the A3000 can mow my entire front and backyard in one charge. The GOAT 1000 RTK could do less than half of that before needing to recharge. And finally, the A3000 handles sticks, pine cones, and yard debris so much better. My yard is always a bit of a mess thanks to all the trees and squirrels and children constantly dropping sticks and pine cones on the grass. The GOAT 1000 would occasionally get hung up on smaller debris like sticks or pine cones, especially in shaded areas under trees. I really couldn't leave it to just do its thing because it would often get stuck on something and need to be rescued. The A3000 is just powering over everything without getting stuck. Now, obviously, this is not my full review yet. I still need to test a lot of things like reliability, edge mowing, consistency, app functionality, multi-day mapping accuracy, and how it handles more difficult obstacle situations over time. But this is the first robot mower I've tested where I've genuinely started thinking, okay, if a robot mower is in your budget, this one might finally be practical for people with normal yards. If you want to follow the deeper testing and upcoming comparisons against the Dream, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to check out the Ecovacs GOAT 3000 Lidar Pro or the Ecovacs 1000 RTK for yourself, I'll have affiliate links in the description.